Hello, my Ashwings. It is such a pleasure to see you all here today for a Project Blue video, the final one of the High Seas heroes to be released in obviously the set High Seas. The previous three videos we talked about Gravy Bones, Marlin, and Puffin, but now we're going to talk about the secret hero that technically was not made for Constructed, but actually seems to have a pretty good place in the Project Blue format, strictly because there are some cards that get a big bonus on you being a thief, and really the main card being money or your life. This card, very powerful, costs you a blue to play it, and it comes in for technically under rate. But in this situation, if you're able to get any damage off and your opponent does not have a gold, you actually can get upwards of 4 additional damage on here. So this is really a 3 cost 10 if you are able to get it to hit. And so that's really, really worth it in the end here. But let's talk a little bit about what the deck does overall, kind of just give a quick breakdown. This is a rough base changed version of the deck that viewer of the channel, Turtle, actually had made. And I'm curious whether or not the deck runs as well as I'd like it to. I've kept a couple things in here, kind of like the test of strengths and the starting stakes, in which I normally wouldn't keep them, but I've kept them in here for the sake of blocking a little bit more efficient and allowing me to generate more of this gold to make Gold Kiss Rum and kind of get myself started on that front. But with Scurv Stowaway, effectively it is a pirate thief hero. So while you do have cards that care about you being a thief, you do not have thief class specific cards. So you're really just a pirate who happens to utilize the cards that care about you being a thief. So with Scurv Stowaway, what we're doing here is we're actually going about trying to force our opponent to either get gold or lose their gold in order for us to make this Gold Kissed Rum and allow these big attacks that we send to get go again. Gold Kiss Rum is the token that says you can tap your hero and destroy this, and your next action this turn gets go again, and your hero can't untap this turn unless they're a pirate. So your hero will be able to untap in order for that to happen, and then you can proceed to go about making all of these general effects in which to go about giving your stuff go again with the Gold Kiss Rum. Notably also, whenever you activate a Gold Kiss Rum, you get a resource. And so if you can find a way to even untap your hero to then activate a Gold Kiss Rum again, you could get upwards of 2 additional resources per turn, which is a lot. But the overall suite here is kind of very specific. Blue Sea Tricorn is going to allow us to draw into different cards. This lets us get another blue into a pitch zone if need be to then draw a card. So let's say we're missing a blue, we can pitch 3, draw a card, and then activate a Gold Kiss Rum, pitch another blue in order for us to then go about getting something like a go again or something of the sort to Battalion Bark with 2 blues in there. I think this headpiece does fairly well for what it's worth, but paying 3 resources to just draw a card effectively means, are you trying to filter your deck to get power cards? And if the answer is yes, then yeah, it's good. And there's probably a world in which it's better because you can get things like Tipple or things of that sort. So pretty good stuff. So there's Tricorn there. We're running the Buccaneer's Bounty. This is just Blade Break 1, but you can destroy it to gain an action point and get go again. So this is going to help you if you're trying to kind of push forward a lot of that damage. You do also then have Light Fingers, which is, while it's a generic arm piece, it does get a benefit if you are a thief. When this defends, if you are a thief, you steal a gold token from the attacking hero's control, or the attacking hero. So if they have a gold token, you can then take it and then be able to utilize it on your own turn to create a Gold Kiss Rum. You do also have then your boots, Blade Beckoner. It's just pretty straightforward. These are some of the best equipment pieces in these budget formats, just because they are so valuable in being able to block 1 on an attack action and then block 1 on a weapon, or even block 2 on a weapon should they need be, and they don't get destroyed. So you get to utilize them in many different ways. It's very effective to block out that physical damage. And then your weapon is Talishar, because pirates do not have a specific weapon. There's no cutlass or anything that came out of high seas that allows you to play, some kind of sword. So Talishar is actually the only weapon that Scurv is able to utilize in his deck, which is fine though, because being able to come in for 4, which is a break point towards the end of the game, is pretty important. And even though you're only able to do it 3 times, this is a game you kind of want to make sure doesn't go to fatigue. And so you're going to want to constantly be pushing that damage to your opponent. And then we do also notably get to have our own companion. Scurv does have their own companion in Sticky Fingers, which has the ability to tap it and attack. And if it's equipped, you unequip it. And then when this attacks a hero, they steal a gold token they control. So for just by tapping it, you can go ahead and swing at your opponent for 2 more damage. In most cases, your opponent probably won't kill this. But if they do, that's essentially 2 health. Think of it like 2 additional block value on your armor. Notably, though, if it's equipped, it can't be targeted. So your opponent can't attack this until you've unequipped it by attacking with the Sticky Fingers. But even still, if you're able to find a way to play something, give it go again, and then attack with Sticky Fingers, you're still threatening a lot more in your turn, which will eventually get your opponent to a lower life total. Then we get into the main deck here. Pretty simple. 6 Barks, 6 Tipples, 6 Money or Your Life. We've gone over Money or Your Life, but Battalion Bark is just a great card because you get to have it come in for an additional +2. This is even a breakpoint on a blue. Have it come in for 7. 7 on blue, 8 on yellow, 9 on red. It's just very valuable to have. Notably also a pummel target. So if you play a Battalion Bark, pitch 2 reds, or pitch 2 blues, have 2 float, have a pummel in arsenal, you can pummel a Battalion Bark and have it come in for 13 on hit, discard a card. Very powerful. Golden Tipple. This is a great way for you to get gold generation on your turn. Also notably a great way to filter out some yellows in your hand that maybe are not going to have a lot of value. For instance, something like the Starting Stakes, or maybe you're not even going to have the resources to play Sirens of Safe Harbor, and you'd rather have something else. When you put Sirens of Safe Harbor into the discard pile by discarding it to Golden Tipple, you do get a gold and draw a card, and then also gain a life. Pretty good value in that front. And if you do ever get the opportunity to play Sirens of Safe Harbor, it is a 2-cost attack. So again, it can be pummeled. Money Your Life, we talked about this. This is just this is your main pummel target. You want to make sure to get some additional value off of this. But if you can't get it off, no worries. Even if you steal gold from your opponent, it's fine. But mainly you want to keep them without any gold and then hit them with Money Your Life. We're running the red and the blue pummels. Just another great way to kind of push some damage through. Test of Strength is a good block card. We're not doing a ton of clashing, but if we do clash, we have some pretty powerful stuff here in Sirens and Battalions and Money or Your Life. But really, if they gain a gold, that's totally fine, because then we can go ahead and just swing with a Sticky Fingers if we still have it up, steal that gold back from them, and then do something else. Starting Stake, this is in case you don't have a gold token. If you go first, and you have this in your starting hand, you're going to want to play it just because you can get a gold. But it does also block 3, which is really good there too. We're also playing Blue Money Where Your Mouth Is. This is a great way to kind of wager that gold to kind of force your opponent on whether or not you're going to win it or not. If your opponent blocks it out and gets a gold, you can steal it back, and you get tempo in that favor. If your opponent doesn't block it out, you get a gold, which then allows you to make a Gold Kiss Rum, which is pretty good. Ravenous Rabble, or Murderous Rabble, I should say. 0 for 3, go again, pretty good stuff. Portside Exchange, again, another way to filter your hand. You're going to want to discard a yellow, and then you'll draw a card. If you discarded a yellow, you'll create a gold token. So tons of value on that front. It also blocks for 3. Seafloor Salvage is a 0 blue block 3 that you can turn a card in a graveyard face down. You can do this on an opposing hero 5, for instance. So for instance, if you play this and your opponent's a 5, you can use this, target their Phoenix Flame in their graveyard, and if they can respond to this by pitching to then bring that Phoenix Flame back to their hand, but notably you've then removed a card from their hand in a way to allow you to kind of get this going. But it's a blue block 3, its main purpose. Swiftwater Sloop, this is kind of a bigger deal here because If there are 2 or more cards in your pitch zone, this gets go again. This is something that always is going to be checking for that. So if you do play Swiftwater Sloop with 2, you'll have 1 float. So you'll just have 1 blue and pitch. You can then pitch again to a pummel. That will then give this go again. And then you'll be able to go ahead and have it get go again. You'll get +4 if it's a red pummel or a +2 if it's a blue. And then you'll get any on hits if your opponent decides to do that too. You can also notably do the same thing if you are playing something along the lines of, attacking with something, giving it a go again with Gold Kiss Rum, and then swinging Swiftwater Sloop again, get a go again. It's good. Wage gold. This is another way to kind of wager with your opponent. It forces them into a situation where, again, if they block it, cool, they get a gold. You get to steal that gold. If they don't block it, cool, you get a gold, and you get to go ahead and use that gold to make Gold Kiss Rum, which is very powerful. Our inventory here is going to be yellow Battlefront Bastion, strictly again because of a discard fodder, but also a great way to prevent stuff. It's a pop or 2. Throw caution to the wind. This is more so for the wizards because you can just go ahead and take a look at the top card of your deck. And if it's a blue, you'll prevent 3 damage. If it's a yellow, it'll prevent 2. And if it's a red, it'll prevent 1. But it's more than likely going to be a blue. So it's nice to have. We then also added in Unmovable. I think Unmovable is just like a really good generic defense reaction in this meta, even if it only blocks for 5 and that's like super overrate. This still blocks out things like breakpoints. So we want that to happen. We want there to be breakpoints to be blocked because we don't want them to get any on hits. So Unmovable does that for us. We're then, of course, running the Blade Beckoner Gauntlets in case we run into something like an Ira or something of the sort and we need more defensive capabilities. And then we have Null Rune Boots and Null Rune Glove for the Arcane matchups. So that's the deck. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the deck in Project Blue and see if any changes need to be made to kind of dive into the meta with this High Seas hero. All right, Flesh and Noob here on Kano. So we're going to actually go ahead and see whether or not we've got what it takes to put it up against Kano here. We're going to go ahead and put in these throw the caution, throw caution to the wind. I think we're going to probably take out, let's see. I think we maybe take out red pummels because I feel like it's just not going to be as effective. We're going to want to keep everything kind of in our hand. And we'll see. I mean, obviously, this could be a very different situation in which this Kano just is on more attack action situation. But overall, I think we're in a good spot. I think we can actually start with... If I play Money of Your Life, no, we're going to play a starting stake. And we're going to see what we can do here. Our opponent's on Old Knocker, Hold Focus, Blade Beckoner Boots, and Talismanic Lens. So we got the starting stake. We got a gold. They're going to Kano. We're going to go ahead and just filter our hand here because they're going to try and hit us with some stuff. There's an Aether Spindle. So that's pretty good. That'll come in for 5. We only have AB2, unfortunately. So pretty good to get rid of that. Let's just AB2. So not exactly the best starting turn. I probably wish I'd threatened more damage on that front. Because all we did in the sense is just make a gold. But, oh well. We have a gold. So now our hand could be a little bit better. I'll put this pummel in Arsenal. Change it on up here. All right, well, that sucks because I wish I had a red. We have, oh, that's right. Test of Strength is something I'll never be able to do here. So let's just go ahead and hit this. And AB2. I think this might be a time in which AB is going to be just like significantly worse for us here. I might even swing with Sticky Fingers and see what I can do here. Yeah. They're having a really good turn. I'm going to attack with Sticky Fingers. Because they're not going to kill it. So we can just send Sticky Fingers and pass. They'll take 2. I'll proceed to end my turn. They're going to Kano. I don't know that we actually win these. Especially since they're getting a lot of value off of these turns here. I also think Pummel probably doesn't help too much into this matchup. Maybe we need more arcane damage prevention. We are going to AB2. We'll just get rid of the Pummel here. So they're doing a lot. They have a lot of damage coming through. They're able to filter the cards they want to play. We'll just AB1 on the snapback. They'll end their turn. And then I think we might just go ahead and see if we can send some stuff here. Let's see. Let's... Let's maybe... I mean, we kind of have to get crazy with our damage, right? Let's make a Gold Kiss Rum. Let's then send Italian Bark. So we'll send 7. We do have a blue Pummel in our hand. Notably, we can use this too to prevent some arcane damage or try to Pummel. I'm going to see whether or not they're just going to kill me here. They did Aether Spindle. They may have found something bad, but I'm going to Pummel here. Worst case scenario, they of course get to just like rip their whole hand out in an attempt to kill me. But at this point, at least if they do end up having to keep a card in their hand that they can't play, like a red, we get to get rid of it. So we got a blue. We got a Photon Splicing, so that's pretty good for them. You're going to play a Photon Splicing for sure. And they got a blue Snapback. Pretty good. So this is 5, 6 damage coming at me here. So that'll bring me down to 3. What do they have on top? Another Snapback? No. Oh, they're pitching to... I see. Yep, so they got rid of all the cards in their hands. So I'm going to say no blocks here. And then they don't have any resources to play Snapback unless they Old Knocker here, so... Okay, we'll have to see. We did get a Throw Caution. So we're in a pretty okay spot here. This is going to be for 3. It might be a sloop situation. No, I'm going to just AB. I'm just going to AB with Bark, I think. We're going to activate a Gold Kiss Rum. I'm going to get a resource. Notably important. Pitch here, send this for 4 go again. So this is obviously lethal. We're going to see if they're willing to block out the rest of this here. I'm going to attempt to send my Talishar next. And then we're going to see whether or not they have the stuff to block me out. They got a bad hand. So we get to keep this in Arsenal. Pretty good for us, actually. Pretty good for us, actually. And we got the other one. Okay. They're a pretty okay spot, I think. 3. I think there's a world in which I AB2 here. No. Yeah, actually, AB2. Then they'll just arsenal that card. Or they're going to try and Kano. I am going to then play this. I'm going to pitch this. We are not going to draw. They're going to block with a card. I'm going to send this Talishar at them. They only have the one on here. So I guess they do have the other Talishar block that they can do on this. I definitely just need to keep these two cards in my hand at all times. Is the unfortunate situation here. But they're waiting for a big turn. So we'll see whether or not they end up getting it. Okay, so this is 4. I guess I was supposed to. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to do this first. There's a blue on the top, so I'm just going to take 1. I think we just have to go in for the kill here. We'll say none to that. Well, that doesn't make any sense. How am I at 1? Came in for 4? Oh, I didn't see it here. Real money or life. Okay, so we know there's a blue on top. That's kind of insane for us. Not good, notably. We are going to play the Buccaneers Bounty. We are then going to... I'd have to send it like this, unfortunately. 7 is still a lot, and we're still threatening a lot. They can still block with this here. We give up our only AB. If that happens, they definitely kill us. So do we just send Tipple here instead? Send Tipple, pitch, draw card. Send Tipple. We get our sirens down. We draw a card. Now we gain a life from that, notably. Try to send 1, and then maybe we just send, what do you call it? Send Sticky Fingers. They'd have to give a card for it. I feel like they haven't done anything off Kano for the top for a long time. And that's kind of concerning. It's concerning to me, at least. Let's send Sticky Fingers. That costs us nothing. No cards. Costs them a card to do. We'll get to put something in Arsenal. Okay. We have our out here in the Arsenal. There was a red on top. That's not good. Okay, we're seeing a Crucible come up. Aether Quickening coming in for 5. Oh, and the snapback too. That's really good. Well, we can AB2 the snapback. No, we can't. Next card you play this turn with effect that deals arcane damage just deals that much +1. So it's coming in for... No, the next card you play this turn with an effect. So this is going to be Snapback. Because it was... Hold on. I have to know the order for this. Yeah. Resolved activated ability. So they played Crucible, and then they played Aether, and then they played Snapback. So it's going to be on Aether. So this is going to come in for 3. Yeah. I'm going to AB 2 of it. And then I think this comes in for 5. I can then do the thing here. Although I still think I die. I don't think this has anywhere near the amount of AB. Also, notably, if there's a blue. Okay, there is a blue on top. So we can AB 2. And then I still think we die to like anything. Because if they have anything that pitches for like that much, we just kind of like lose it. I gotta try killing them, but I mean, whatever, right? Sends it for 2. I do think Kano's probably the hardest to play around in this situation, just because they're gonna have a lot. It's not your turn. You may play this as though we're an instant. The next card you play this turn with an effect that deals arcane damage deals that much +1. Yep, so they're banishing the Kano. And then they're going to send Overflow and a Snapback. Yeah, I just died of this, so. That's game. Good game. Good game. Good game. Yeah, I don't know that it exactly works too well into Wizards. I think AB2 is not enough when you have a lot of blues. I think AB3 is probably the correct move. Also, notably, this is just one of those really, really difficult decks to play into because you do not want to give up so much of your cards for damage. There's no way for me to send things like a Battalion Bark for 9 and then also pummel. Because like we have things like pummels in here, which aren't going to matter because your opponent's going to just pitch all their blues and then attack you with Kano, keeping all the cards in their deck. They also notably are going to have several ways to kind of just like overall get over the damage. I mean, when you have so many cards like Snapback and Aether Spindle, Scalding Rain coming in for 4, AB3 would do better to pitch a blue and then wait. You can kind of wait out this stuff because there's no big combo that happens in this deck. Effectively, if you can AB3 naturally and also have cards like maybe Oasis Respite or even something along the lines of really just throw caution to the wind also is very good. The downfall of this in this deck is that while you expect to have a blue on top, you don't always. And so you can't use this as like a last ditch effort kind of deal. It almost might be better in some situations to pitch this card as a 3, as opposed to it being a way for you to get additional value off blocking the arcane damage. But in this situation, I mean, our opponent is running a lot of these powerful like Voltic Bolts, Emeritus Scolding, which is just like insane. Because if this comes, if it gets played on our turn, we're dead. I mean, there's just no way for this to happen. Now, granted, them getting this off the top, like they had a lot of really good Aether Spindle turns to be able to kind of like sort that through. But I guess they just didn't see any of those reds through there. So overall, I mean, the deck doesn't fail. I think it's definitely just a hard deck to play into Kano specifically, especially with only AB2, because Throw Caution to the Wind doesn't do as much into this. It'd much rather be an Oasis Respite, I think. I think Oasis Respite is just significantly the better instant disruption against a wizard. And being able to do something like that, gain life as well on top of it. I feel like we had plenty of opportunity where we could have played um, even something like Old Knocker, right? Because Old Knocker, you at instant speed tap your hero, destroy this, gain a resource. This allows you to do something along the lines of play a Oasis Respite at instant speed instead of having it do the other thing. So I think Old Knocker might be the better choice for the chess piece. But these are all just things that I'm seeing off of our first game. Obviously, there are plenty of other heroes to play into. But Kano, I do think Kano definitely dies to Oasis Respite pretty heavily. You could even throw Caution to the Wind as well as, on top of that, if you're really trying to like stop wizards from happening. That additional 3 sideboard slots actually helps a lot in regards to getting yourself set up for these really powerful ways to, present yourself against a many different hero in the format. So maybe we'll take a look at presenting a little bit more Arcane Barrier in that front and then moving on to a different thing. But if you enjoyed today's episode of the Scurv Project Blue video that I went ahead and gotten through, please make sure to go ahead and let me know in the comments down below what you think the deck could change. Also, feel free to go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. It does help the channel grow. I know we just passed 2,600 subscribers, so thank you all so much for that. And, we're going to do something pretty huge, I think, at 3,000. So I'm hoping to continue to grow with all of you and continuing to support the Flesh and Blood community as best I can by providing you this budget gameplay one day at a time. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your support. And remember to have fun in the Flesh and Blood. And I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next video.